Well, it is finals day here at MSI. It is all done in just a little moment. We're going to have the match play out between G2 and SKT. I'm joined right now by Deficio, who's, I'm sure, very, very happy about the situation. How are you?
I'm doing really well right now, mainly because G2, of course, made the final, but it's been a fun event overall.
Now, yesterday I interviewed Perks, and I pointed out that the analyst desk lit up with all Team WEs. Did you honestly believe that it could happen? Because it seems like it was a pretty big upset.
It was a big upset. I actually wrote in the caster chat before the game that like the more research you did, the more it felt like WE would just kind of win this series pretty easily. Yeah. But then because Trick and the rest really stepped up, then they actually managed to beat them, and they were far and away the better team. So analyst desk, shame on you.
Yeah. What do you think happened during this week? Like, first off, is this the G2 that you see in Europe, and was that lacking in the first week? And if not, like what happened?
Well, I would say it's the Trick we see in Europe. He was the man who stepped up big time, obviously, compared to the group stage. And it's actually interesting because I talked to G2 after the game and been like, what happened? Like, you guys looked so good right now. And they had apparently like team meetings where they were discussing like, how do we make this work, trusting each other. And you could see like Trick came in, and game one he played like much more confident. And he actually made early plays, it succeeded. And them winning the first game, despite them having to kind of bounce back after being behind, I think that kind of gave them that confidence that, okay, we actually like really good, and we can do this, and especially Trick. So the fact he played like the Trick we saw last year, that was a two-time MVP Trick, actually made them a world-class team. Everyone else kind of played like we've seen during the group stage, but him stepping up was the big change.
Do you think there was better team play at all? I mean, even setting aside Trick, do you think that, like a lot of people were talking about their picks and bans, even on the coaching side, what do you think of all that side of the game?
I mean, I think everything clicked. Pick and ban phase was great. Obviously, in-game communication and the plays they made were super good. So it was just fun to see the team that dominates your region every single time actually do this now on the stage. And people will say it's best of fives and so on. I mean, having a few days to prep probably helped them. Right. But already game one, they looked much better than the team we saw in the group stage. So I just felt like they played better. Some of the underperforming members stepped up. And they're a European team, so... I mean, they have to be world-class, right?
Sure.
Right?
Let's go with that. Yeah, that's what history shows. All right, let's talk about, yesterday when I chatted with Jad, I talked to him about the whole TSM situation and kind of what that meant for North America. Now with G2's victory yesterday and making it into the finals, I'd love to get your take on G2, like this team that was in some ways reviled by the community. We were talking just before that there were boos at the finals.
Yep.
So, first off, what has been your take on the EU's community reaction to G2, and what changes now?
Yeah. So before this, after MSI last year, and they lost in vacation and all that kind of stuff, and then Worlds, they couldn't make it out of groups. There was so much hate because people were actually annoyed that we kept having G2 win EU, so they kept going to international tournaments to represent Europe, and teams were kind of then first mad at G2, and then they were suddenly mad at Fnatic and Unicorns for not being better, so that it's once again G2 going to represent Europe, and everyone just found someone they could hate because they were just annoyed. But now, after G2 showed, what this team can do, and they can actually represent Europe, and now everyone can kind of rally behind them as a team, it's just way more positive. Like, everyone is kind of cheering now for Europe and for G2 specifically. There's obviously still some salty haters, but like, you're never going to convince them of anything. And I think just the momentum for G2 as an organization and the players is fantastic, and like everyone likes us now. They just gotta keep that going, because if you fail at Worlds, then you're right back where you started, where people are gonna bring back the old memes. But I think overall it's gonna be so much more positive, and it's great for us that our top team will start building up a bigger fan base, because, like, believe it or not, G2 are here to stay. Right. They've won 3 splits in a row. They're probably going to take a number 4 as well in the summer split. So we want a top team that people like, and not a team where they're booing at them at the final.
Yeah. That is always nice to not have boos at the finals.
We prefer no boos.
Yeah. So, what do you think that this means for EU on the world stage? Is this? I mean, let's put it this way. Last year, NA got to the finals, MSI, and then we didn't look so great at Worlds. Are you confident enough in the other teams as well in Europe and Europe as a region to feel, pretty good about after MSI going through the summer and towards Worlds?
I mean, I felt okay about the level in Europe even before MSI started. I felt like we had quite a few top teams that were playing pretty decent League of Legends. I think a lot of regions kind of struggle because they have like 1 or 2 really good teams and then a lot of teams that are fairly mediocre. Kind of the same in Europe, but at least felt like Misfits and Fnatic were playing pretty well. So going into summer split, like it's good to get the confirmation that our top team is like a really strong team. But I think it's kind of the same. Like I still want to see other teams step up. Like H2K, why are you dropping out of quarterfinal with that lineup? It's like unacceptable. And they need to step up big time if I'm going to be confident about our second and third place teams, going into Worlds. But I think like a Unicorns of Love as well could be super fun to follow at Worlds in best of 1. I can definitely see them make it out of groups. I think it's good times for Europe right now, and I think this MSI just confirmed that we have some good teams.
Now, shifting gears a little bit, in Barcelona we did a Who's Your Demon episode with you.
I remember.
About Kobe. We got Kobe in there as well, and he was talking about how you're always trying to touch his butt and stuff like this. Was actually a quote that he made. What has it been like working again with Kobe here, especially as you see like the NA and EU rivalry kind of take place with you guys on the broadcast?
Well, yeah, so the banter kind of died down very quickly in group stages because we were actually afraid that none of the teams would make it out. So we were just kind of sad together, being like, man, this is really bad. Like, none of our teams are doing well. But when G2 then beat TSM, I think actually I casted a game with Kobe. With Trevor as well. Me and Trevor were kind of dancing around, and Kobe was almost crying in the background. So that was really awesome for me and Trevor, of course. Overall, though, I mean, I love these tournaments because the crew, the team, together, everyone is so different and yet so much the same because kind of the butt touching is spreading around. It's not just, me and Kobe now. There's multiple people joining in.
This is like an epidemic.
It's spreading, but... It's good fun. It's good fun. We all basically kids, so we just have a lot of fun with a lot of dumb jokes, and then we go on air and we put on like a serious face, and we just start yelling at the screen, and then we go backstage again, and it's all fun.
Well, you're casting in just a short time, so we need to wrap this up. Is there anything you want to say to any of the EU fans out there?
Well, I hope this tournament has kind of turned people around when it comes to G2. I really think people should be supporting our top team, and of course also then demand more from the rest of the teams if you want to see more competition for number 1, because I think we have some good teams with a lot of potential, and I think going into Worlds, we will send 3 teams, and all 3 will make top 4.
Wow.
Maybe not.
Okay.
I meant Korea.
Yeah.
But 1 team will make top 4.
All right. We'll end this interview now. You can check out the rest of our coverage of all things esports here at Yahoo Esports.